Hello everyone, welcome to Little History. As always, I am Adam, I'm a trained medieval historian, and we're playing Kingdom Deliverance. More of it. Continuing to watch Henry make increasingly poor decisions. Coming up at the start of this episode will be Henry barging into his liege lord's private meetings as a random peasant to apologize for his previous bad decisions. We'll see how that goes for him. If you enjoyed this, do make sure you follow and consider subscribing. We are currently in September on Twitch, which means subscriptions are discounted, and if you're doing multi-month subscriptions, they are extra discounted. So if you've been on the fence, this is a great time to do it. I would love to see if we can get a big push, because it does mean a lot. It lets me keep doing bigger things. We've got a lot of historical games coming up this fall, and you don't want to miss them. Also, if you really like this, do consider heading over to patreon.com/littlehistory in order to help support the channel further for as little as $2 a month. We stream 3 times a week, so if you miss any of this, all the VODs will be uploaded to our YouTube channel, which is basically exclusively VODs right now, but we got some fun stuff coming up, so stay tuned for more info on that on the tail end of the stream. Now, without further ado, let's switch over to our main page and start talking about music, because historical musicology is in fact a field, and I think it's revealing that music in no way, shape, or form seems to feature in Kingdom Come Deliverance's developers' conception of historical accuracy. Chat, take a listen to this music, and give me some descriptors. What's our vibe here? A lot of violins. That's a trumpet line. Being duplicated. Nope, not duplicated. Counter melody in the trombones. You know, let's turn that up. Give me just a sec. It's gonna cut out for a bit while I change the volume. Lots of volume. 3, 2, 1. Give me something. Sounds like stock epic main menu music from like a Soul Calibur game or something. Yeah, it's much later than 100 or 200 years from now. This is 20th century orchestral. This is not how, right, this is post-romantic, orchestral. This is not early Baroque. This is not high, like, Bach-esque high classical. This is very much modern symphonic orchestral. Oh, there's some of the other ones have choirs, Wolfie. If we sit here long enough, we're gonna have more. This dude, I think you have nailed it. It is very much Howard Shore-esque, Peter Jackson, LOTR. I would also add Hans Zimmer as our aesthetic. Right. Our aesthetic here is, especially when it builds, we're gonna get a lot of little tremolo. Right. It's gonna build up to have this big, fat orchestral chunk. The choir's gonna come in. Some of these songs are incredibly modern, cinematic orchestral. Right? You could say this is, I guess, like, turn of the 20th century, some ballet, maybe Stravinsky, yeah. Right, some of these could be like Tchaikovsky or Stravinsky, or maybe even as early as a little bit. Nah, no, I'm not even gonna push earlier than that. 1880s, right? Wagner, potentially. But mostly we're working in a cinematic tradition. Which, if you will remember back on the previous thing, a couple streams ago, when we finished the tutorial, and we took a look at that film, Protiv Shem, that Czech film from the 1950s that, they're clearly aping off of? Yeah, this one. Listen to this. Listen to those violins running arpeggios. With a single female of... Okay, now we've hit full choir with the trombone, doubling it. I mean, yes, it is a choir synth, but that's neither here nor there. We're not going to fault them for not having budget to necessarily full live record. Because choirs are expensive. But still, very specific. Standard Hollywood fancy music score product. Exactly. Which I think, realistically, we can only draw two conclusions off of. The first being, that we already identify from that their conception of historical accuracy is highly mediated. Right, and by mediated I mean literally filtered through film media. And secondly, the idea that games need to have this suitably dramatic music in a very role-playing game tradition, and that is something distinct from and unrelated to historical accuracy. But this dude, you kinda got ahead of me, because we can actually compare this to actual medieval music, sort of. Let's click over here. Actually, let me stay on here for just a sec while I get it set up. I want to be on the correct account. We have really, really good surviving examples of medieval music in the Carmina Burana, which is very, very famous. Obviously, there is also the very much the Carmina Burana as in the piece by Karl Orff, which is not the one I'm talking about. Though, we might click over to it for fun. Let's listen to this. Right, this is the Karl Orff one. This is not the correct one. Oh, Fortuna. I mean, you can tell immediately that there is influence here, right? This sort of hyper-epic orchestral choral style is coming out of Karl Orff in a tradition. Right, you hear the parallel. But what's the name of it? Medieval... There's a band that... What is the name of it? Starts with an S. It's... Why do I not remember it? Oh well. Let's see if one of these does it for us. No, it's a artist, led by Benjamin Bagby, Sin. But this one's looking helpful. This is helpful. This is much more plausible. From the Codex Boranus, which is the Carmina Burana. So, we're going to listen to a bit of the actual manuscript, because it is an actual manuscript. In the meantime, the Burana manuscript. As a manuscript, 254 poems and dramatic text from the 11th or 12th century, though some are from the 13th century. So this is a little bit later, or a little bit earlier than the game, right? Let's be clear, much of this style of music is from a little bit earlier. By the 15th century, we are seeing some evolutions, in that we're starting to see the development of the viol, as a very popular instrument a bit south. But we're still seeing a lot of flutes, harps, and rebecks as our main stringed instrument, or our main instrumentations in the troubadour tradition. And percussion, of course. It is a beautiful manuscript, though. Like, let's be clear. It is a gorgeous manuscript. Look at them. They're just vibing. But, right, you don't hear this, and I think you don't hear this for a very specific reason. Right? This style, plain chant, is so strongly associated in modern imagination with medieval monasteries. And so in our modern conception, right, we're like, oh, outside of a religious institution, you don't do plain chant. Which made it, like, remember back in Elden Ring, before we fought, Starstruck Radon? If you remember, like, 3 months ago, when we fought that? Remember that castle had, like, Redmane Castle, I think it was, had plain chant? And I was very confused about that. That's why, because this is so strongly a medieval religious institution that we don't think of this as a musical tradition that would be used outside of that. Even though it would have been, sort of. Right, true, just vocal plain chant is very much a church tradition. Troubadour traditions could use plain chant type harmonies, despite having instrumental accompaniments. So, that was a bit more popular. Anyway, immediate digression aside, that is only half of our problem. Oh, also, folk. 19th century folk styles, being listed as historical and therefore medieval, right? This is effectively, right, Irish. I mean, I'm not going to attest that it's specifically Irish folk versus English folk versus Czech folk, but it is folk. Ha! And there are the references to Red Fairs. It took so long. It took so long for anyone to bring up Red Fairs. But we did. Oh, okay. I'm not welcome up there. Also, I should be on controller instead of on mouse and keyboard, so I'm not, having a bad time. Whee. Hello, guard. I'm glad you have a name, sir. Perkstein.
Your Graces, I have to tell you in all seriousness that this land of ours is in the shit. Deep fucking shit.
Yeah.
Don't you agree?
I might not have put it as eloquently as you, Hanush. but I've been driven out of my own castle, so I'm hardly going to
So,
disagree.
by the way,
Indeed.
very
The
much.
Pipstein is yours for as long as you need it. There's room enough for your men and you here at Rattay, and I'm sure my ward won't have any objection to me lending you his castle.
I'd be honored. Pechstein is at your disposal as long as you wish, Your Grace.
Just
Amazing.
as well you have another castle at the other end of town, eh? At any rate, I'm beholden to you, Sir Hans, and to you, Sir Hanush.
I don't like to speak ill of your people, Sir Radzig, but, well...
Who's this asshole?
There's no love lost between the townsfolk and the refugees. There's been talk of criminality.
No, they'll have to get used to it until the situation's resolved.
But when will it be resolved? And what on God's earth is this war even
Is it common for
about?
noblemen to curse and swear like that?
I won't lie, sir.
Eh.
I don't understand
We
it.
don't.
You aren't alone, Father. I believe Sigismund's original intention was to persuade Wenceslas to accept the imperial crown and to leave the rule of Bohemia to
Oh,
him.
good
Who
exposition.
could blame him?
We'll talk about
I know
swearing in a
Wenceslas
little
is
while.
a friend of yours, Radzig, but even you have to admit he brought it upon himself.
I can't deny the king neglected affairs of state for other pursuits. There is a need for order in the land, but I don't think the lords who sided with Sigismund realized just what Hungarian order looks like.
Hungarian order.
What concerns me, sir, is how a good Christian could resort to such brutality.
To give him
I
his
don't
due,
think he has to be
I don't think
tortured
he
in this
expected
period.
the lords
Let
of
me.
this
Well,
country
let
to stand behind the king.
me.
But
My
thanks
phone's
to
over
him,
there.
We're tearing ourselves apart, and now he has to
While
get
the
things
cutscene's
under
playing,
control.
let me
But
grab
why
that.
in God's
We'll take a
name
look
does he
and
have
see
to
if.
use those barbarians?
Money is the root of all evil, young sir. Wars are costly, and this one has dragged on
We
for
may
a
need to do
year.
research on that.
Sigismund ran out of coin for knights, so he recruited those whore sons that settled in Hungary. The less he pays, the more they make up for it with plunder.
Well, that's
That's
done
why
to
he
business.
attacked us. He was after our silver.
What are you doing? You've no business here. Clear off.
Wait, it's Henry. Henry, who disappeared after I clearly ordered him to remain at Taumberg.
I'm sorry, sir, but I had to bury my parents.
Had to? Do you think you were the only man who lost someone there? But the others listened to their lord.
And it wasn't just your own life you nearly threw away. So Robard and his men risked theirs to save you.
I'm sorry, but I had to.
Oh, there you go. When you have to, Radzig.
Your father was a remarkable man, and your mother...
Who never is named.
remarkable too. They deserved a Christian burial. Did you manage that at least?
No. I was attacked by thieves. I wouldn't be here now if
That
it wasn't for
girl?
that girl.
Seriously?
Girl?
The miller's daughter, Teresa.
Seriously?
The miller's daughter saved you from the footpads? Oh, there's a tale to tell you, children.
I owe her my life. She distracted them and then brought me to Rattay. But without Sir Robard...
Oh yeah,
we'd
no.
both be
Henry's
dead.
mother has no
That's
name.
what I call a good woman. Hang on to that one, lad.
Still, it's a great shame your parents are buried in unconsecrated
Hey, they actually mentioned that.
ground.
They actually
That
mentioned
means
that. Look
purgatory
at
for
that.
them.
Be quiet, Friar. I didn't invite you here to eat me out of house and home and
They
deliver a
actually
sermon
reference
while
the
you were
fact
doing
that
it.
being in
You feel so
unconsecrated
concerned,
ground is
Father.
bad.
Maybe you should save the innocent souls of these fine Christians yourself. Go to Skalitz and consecrate their graves. I assure you, if you're killed by bandits, your soul will soar straight to heaven, as long as someone buries you in consecrated ground first.
If there's anything left to bury, that plump carcass of yours would be quite a feast.
What
for
is this
the
reminding me
wolves
of?
and
This
the
is-
crows. And one skeleton looks much like another, so how would we know which were your
Okay, I mean,
ordained
I do
bones or
kind of
those
love how
Sigismund's target?
incredibly
Get out of
blasphemous
May.
everyone is.
Why have you come here?
I must get your sword back.
Sword? My sword hangs here at my side.
No, the sword my father forged for you. One of those thieves stole it from me.
They almost killed him and he already wants to go back.
Takes after his father, I suppose. Lad, I've lost a castle, a village, silver mines, and a good half of my subjects. Why would I miss one sword?
Because it's the last one my father forged, and I promised him I'd deliver it to you.
I understand. I'd feel the same way. But prudence is the better part of valor, and a dead man keeps no promises.
Aye. The woman had to save his fat from the fire and now he wants revenge. What kind of fool are you, boy?
I agree with
No
this guy.
fool. Henry, you have courage, but you need training, arms, a horse. Or do you mean to beat this thief at dice?
No, sir. Please, take me into your service and give me the chance to learn these things.
The gall of him. Fled from the enemy, disobeyed your orders, duped Sir Divish, lost your sword, put Sir Robard in danger with his actions, and now he wants a promotion. Sir Capon's right.
What you say is certainly true, except for fleeing the enemy. You would have run as well. Believe me.
Henry, was that
Henry's
the money
handsome
puzzle?
punishment.
Yes.
How do you punish someone who's already lost everything? Courage and blind obedience are good qualities for a soldier, but a wise man also appreciates loyalty, perseverance, and determination. Besides, that was a fine sword that his father made. If he thinks he can get it back, I won't turn it down.
My lord, he's a peasant. You can't make a squire of a peasant.
Why not? Someone made a priest of a pig.
He isn't a peasant, father, he's a blacksmith, and recent events have left me in need of his skills. So,
We
would you like
haven't
to enter
we
my
haven't
service?
done any smithing though.
Yes, I would. You won't regret it.
Oh, I probably will. I'm doing this for your father, lad. Don't it disappoint me.
Oh, fortune has finally smiled on you today, lad. Make the most of it.
Now that I think about it, Sir Hanush, the boy needs training and experience, and you need spear carriers.
That's true. Bailiff is always complaining about your people making trouble in the camp. Maybe one of their own among the guard might help.
It might. In any event, it will prove valuable experience.
But let's be clear, you're the one paying him. Captain Bernard, see to his training, and then send him to the bailiff.
Yes, sir.
And don't spare him.
You can rely on it, sir.
Something
Don't
something
forget,
weird.
Henry.
Something's bothering me and I can't
Don't
figure out what.
disappoint me.
I'm just trying to watch the scene
I
and
won't.
actually absorb information for a change instead of being banterful. What's bothering me?
I'll have to get something to eat. I'm starting to get hungry.
So, first off, just give me... Oh, not that button. Give me just a sec while I grab my phone. We need to look some stuff up. Measures that you have missed much. We started with some musicology, and then that's it. We mostly were like, wow, how cinematic of this trailer, how not medieval of it. Okay, what did they say on feudalism? Feudalism is a political system based on land ownership, which originated at the end of the fiefdom, a certain area, the owner lent out to others. The ruler either secular or religious with natural feudal senior. Yes, we will come back to that in just a moment. Contract can only be rescinded by the death. No? Well, in the case of material infringement. Not only could the liege have several vassals, but a vassal could have several liege lords. Okay. This isn't a terrible overview of this. The specifically good part of it is that they're noting not only that the vassals could have several liege lords, and in fact, right, there isn't a clear set of hierarchies, right? There's not just everything flows up to one person, but rather things flow in lots of different directions, including serfdom or a landed obligation, right? Could have obligations to the person who leaves them the land, but then not have obligations to the people above them. Right? Those obligations are very complex. The extremely unfun to read but very important book about that is Susan Reynolds' Fief and Vassal. But yeah. Now I want to hear about swearing, because I think they do actually have something on... Uh-oh. That's not actually a horrible write-up. Where is it? Oh well, I thought they had said something on this that they apparently don't. Okay. So swearing is in cursing. Obviously it is a modern... Why are you all just, like, leaving? What? What? Why are you all just wandering around? Anywho... Because the cutscene was over. I mean, how very Skyrim of you. Hey, let me in. I just wanna... Oh, nice garderobe. Anyway. Oh, words. How are we doing? Hello. Goodbye. So in terms of, right, cursing, the fact that they're using modern swear words is a modernization. It's not a modernization I entirely disagree with, but there, it obviously depends a lot on where and when and who you're talking about, but broadly speaking, casual use of swears like fuck is not so much a thing in our surviving literature. But the thing to note is, of course, we don't have spoken speech from the Middle Ages, right? There was no such thing as a recording device. Everything we have is written down. And just because it's written down out of an oral tradition does not guarantee that it is an accurate representation of that oral tradition. Plays are some of our best sources, but in the Middle Ages, a lot of our plays are sermons, etc., right, direct things meant to be read out loud, are religious in nature, and so they probably, don't swear as much as the average person does. Even something like the York Mystery Plays, which are biblical, but also sometimes very bawdy, probably aren't necessarily swearing as much as our average person. So, theoretically, yeah, it's definitely possible that someone is swearing left, right, and center. And in fact, slightly post-medieval context would suggest, for instance, like Scottish fighting traditions, poetic contest traditions. In fact, suggest that those are pretty... Swearing is actually pretty common in certain contexts. Basically, right, as part of boasting, you end up swearing at people. Exactly. Theatrical persons are not necessarily going to be ordinary speech. So, in a lot of ways, it's hard to get a really, really distinct example of what is actually happening there, and how common swearing is. That being said, it is very much an interesting thing. This was pointed out... Oh, who pointed out? Not that long ago, one of my colleagues on Twitter pointed out that swearing is, in historical media, a mark of grittiness, right? If you want something to be grounded and realistic, everyone swears all the time, right? The word fuck makes things more realistic somehow, despite it just being a word. It is a word. It has no real indicativeness of historical groundedness or realism. It's just a word. But there's this assumption that, right, grounded historical, right, in sort of the anti-Tolkien, right, the anti-high fantasy of medievalist media says, hello, what if we are just gonna, like, oh, let's eat that, and eat that, while these are still fine. Perfect. We're gonna eat a lot of carrots. We're trying to not get sick, but we are trying to, and maybe a little bit sick. Oh, randomly cutting off randomly? Yes. Hello versus good day versus God be with you versus whatever. Hi dogs. Hi puppies. Hi puppy. Hello. Yes. You can stop. You can. What is that? What? How far? It's bark time. By the way, you cannot pet the dog. 0 out of 10. But anyway. I completely derailed my train of thought by the dogs. Swearing. Oh, right. The anti-Tolkien high fantasy response, right? In Tolkien, everyone speaks in very elevated languages. Yeah, languages, plural. And... Sort of. And there's extensive notes on the grammar and why some weirdness happens and what on earth is going on, but everyone speaks in this very archaic style. The response to that is, of course, making everything hyper-contemporary and hyper, unelevated. And that means lots of swearing because social perceptions and other such nonsense. And so it has very little to do with the actual historicity of the speech pattern, or the historicity of any particular act of speech, or any particular social class and their speech patterns. It's just a whole lot of, well, this is just how we make it realistic. Which is in fact a point for the historical inaccuracy list, even if it is one that I have a reasonable amount of sympathy for, in the context of a game space. There we go. I made a reasonably successful, coherent thought. That's our only one for the day, I'm sorry. I want more color in this room. I don't know that historically there would be more color, though if you can afford glazed windows, probably you can afford a bit more color. I do like the heraldry. And the hat. Oh, also, yeah, Johnny makes a very good point. That is all before considering the translation issue on top of this. The translation issue being that it's already been pretty obvious that at least grammar of medieval English to modern English, but also the grammar of medieval Czech into modern English. There's already been a few cases where there's very clearly a Czechism in how they are saying things. Start alchemy. Start alchemy? Alchemy is a useful skill that transforms herbs and other ingredients into potions and remedies. In order to brew those, you need knowledge of alchemy, a recipe, an alchemist bench, and the necessary ingredients. In the alchemist lab, you'll find on the right side of the bench an herbarium, which lists all the properties of herbs and all the recipes you have learned so far. Always best to follow the recipe in the book. Pour the potion base, then you add the ingredients, then you grind them, and then you, have to be careful of the heat, use the sun. But this is complicated. We're just gonna be like this, aren't we? That's a typo. Oh, no, we're just illiterate. This is not how illiteracy works. Like, goddamn. Like, I appreciate that that's a technologically easy way for that to work, but yeah, that was dyslexia. Exactly, right? That's a mechanically clever choice, even if that's not how illiteracy works. Ooh, a church. Hello, church. Oh, I think I've realized what was bugging me about that scene. The cutscene that was played earlier. I think I figured out what's bugging me about it. It's structured like it's... I mean, Doctor Strangelove is not a particularly great comparison, but also that's the comparison that's coming to mind, is that it's not structured like medieval romances' depictions of stuff. It's structured like a Doctor Strangelove Banterfest. Now, how's this church look? I mean, that's manuscript, not fresco, but that's fine. That's great, that's great. That's awesome. Phenomenal. Again, those are manuscript art, not fresco art, but that's fine. That is fresco art right there. That's what we're looking for. And then this is excellent. This is a museum piece, I'm sure of it. With a very standard, well, it's not technically a triptych because there's 5 panels, but a very standard tracery box for that. This is good. This is one of the few times in games, you know, I think I could actually say, I look at this church and I'm like, yes, I buy that this is a medieval church. I mean, I don't know that I would see a single pattern all the way across all of this, but you know, we look at most of this and I'm like, yeah, that's the idea that pretty much every available surface is painted is good. Why is nobody coming to Vespers? Because most people wouldn't go to Vespers. Like, following the hours is something very, very few people outside of religious communities actually did. In the 13th century, at the Fourth Lateran Council, one of the complaints that they had to deal with was trying to get people to show up to Mass more than like once a year. And their solution was to just kinda give up. Is there a bed anywhere nearby? I would love a bed somewhere nearby. Oh, shush. Ha. It's not a matter of being busy, it's just how many people right, like Chad, I grew up Lutheran. I grew up very American Lutheran. In our church, we had this, group that we would call Creasters. Namely, Protestants who would show up at Christmas, and at Easter, and no one else. And, I mean, yes, it's a matter of, quote-unquote, being busy, but it's also a matter of not actually particularly caring. Okay, so there's the goal there. Where actually... Because there's our quest marker. Right. Hey friend, I appreciate you showing up, but we're putting you in timeout for just a moment here, because that's not quite how we roll. Okay? I have got myself very turned around. Because that's outside of town, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, we do want to keep going this way. I think. There's a wall in the way. I can't see what I honestly can't see where I'm going. There's a torch somewhere, isn't there? Yeah. Torches. That's not helpful. Oh yeah, I have to go back to the right. There's a bed over at the mill. How the heck do I get over to the mill? Literally, how do I get to the mill? Because I do not know this town layout yet. There we go. What do you mean I can't fast travel to this location? Can I at least put a marker on it? Okay, I'll put a marker on it. We head over this way. And then down this way. Okay, there's the castle up there. Now we're back at the castle. Or we can go out here and go get a nap. Wouldn't the gates be closed by this time? Meh. So... kind of yes. Right, it depends on where you are, what the circumstances are, etc. In terms of there being a night watches are actually often voluntary, right? So it's not by no means a standard thing in terms of where and when we are. So there's no guarantee that there would be an organized town watch in a random village in relatively rural Bohemia. Right? Even in some place that's much more urban, for instance, the Low Countries about a century after this, the Night Watch is something that you basically sign up for and you do it for prestige rather than for any actual benefit, because you get a small pittance for it. But even then, it's often hard to get people to show up. Obviously, there's an extremely... Did I just overshoot? Eh? This is the... No. Gotcha. Sleep and save. God be with you, Jan. 6, 7, 8. 7 hours seems nice. And this time in many spots in Germany, going for watch is rotational and mandatory. That's good to know. But again, is that in urban centers or is that going to be in rural places as well? Right, because in... I know, right? Imagine being able to choose what time we get up. Right, in urban centers, yeah, there's a lot more resources to have a rotational night watch. This is not urban by any measure, right? I think that's the biggest thing noticing here is that, of course, they get away with a lot here, just by virtue of it being of it being rural, where we often have much better information for what's going on, and there's a lot more focus in our source material. And in many ways, things are going to be significantly different in a rural context. Right? Because there's both less need and fewer resources, and so inside the walled city there is patrols, and there was someone stationed next to the gate to be able to close it, but I suspect both mechanically it would be unfun to have to talk to someone to open up the gate every time you go through. And, barring a threat, it's not clear to me that they necessarily would be closing the... Well, no, they'd probably close this gate. If I'm honest, though, there's no gate. There's no gate in our gate. Well, there's our problem. I have identified the problem, chat. Our gate has no doors. So the entire gate part of it is missing. It's just an arch with a portcullis. There should be a door. Just you know, there should be a door here. This explains why they did not close the gate, though. Is there enough room in the wall for the portcullis? Yeah, there was. I did look up at that, and they did actually model in the asset to have a, like, gap. You know what there's not, though? Oh, I want to see if I can... Sir. Oh.
Are you looking for something?
Kind of a critical flaw, someone can shoot through it? You'd think, yeah.
Away, damn it.
Oh. Do I still have a weapon out? I don't want a weapon out. Yeah. Okay. The axe has now disappeared. It's flawless. Nothing bad has happened. Hello.
Good day to you.
What kind of governor is Sir Hanish?
We are...
Sir Hanush is a good lord. Things won't be the same when that wastrel Sir Hans takes over. That will be a sorry day.
Yeah.
What's life like in Rattay?
We've got sturdy walls and 2 castles to protect us.
Yeah.
There's not many towns of that. And we've got everything we need here. We've got an apothecary, a swordsmith, an armourer. We've got a beautiful church and fine alehouses.
And that's an interesting list of things for a random person to be like, yes, the things we need. Swords. Armor. Medicine. Medicine makes sense. But, swords, armor, ale, a church. 2 of those things, very much yes. Right. Swordsmith and armorer, I feel like a random burger is probably not super invested in. I feel like he's not super... A random burger is probably not super invested in the ability to make swords at home. That's very much a military matter. I would expect, you know, trade networks, ability to get luxury goods in from Prague, guild protections, fertile fields, exciting local dish. Exactly. Insert exciting local dish here. I'd expect to see more exciting local dish than can make swords. Right, clean water, etc., etc., etc. You know, actually useful things for people in the period to be interested in. A monastery nearby is going to bring a decent amount of wealth. If anyone's trading in books, workshops, leather workers, stuff like that. Right? Stuff like that are what I would actually expect to see in a town that's actually being prosperous. Right, burgeoning industry. Who's hiring? We're not seeing that here.
How do the Ratai folk get on?
We're
with
just
the
seeing what is
refugees?
useful to us,
Well,
the
they have it
adventurer
tough,
in
no
our
doubt.
game whose mechanics
There's
are
not enough
mostly
room for
about
them
sex
here.
and violence.
How much longer will they be living on our streets? Nothing good will come of this. What if one of them's brought the plague with them?
Why is everyone so suspicious? Okay, I mean, it is 50 years after the first outbreak of plague, of the second plague pandemic, the Black Death. I get everyone being suspicious of plague. I get everyone being suspicious of plague. I don't hate it. I just don't... There's so little travel represented in this that the refugees become the only people who can have plague, instead of it being everyone just being around. Right? There's so little travel that the only people they can be suspicious of are refugees.
Have you heard anything
It
about the
feels
humans?
suspicious.
Sigurd's army?
It feels suspicious that
Talk to me about
they
that
have it
fucking
tough,
rabble.
but do we actually
The
like
soldier was
them?
saying
No.
in the alehouse, them
We
barbarians
sympathize with
impaled
them, we
people on
just don't
spikes,
want them
raped
here.
women. They hold nothing sacred, the filthy
In
heathens.
2018. In 2018. Right. Hello, Peter. Good to see you. It's one of those things where it's just like the choice to focus on that, and for everyone in this town to be sympathetic but distrustful. It is not historically inaccurate, it is just also ideologically resonant. And not necessarily in the way I wanted it to be.
God be with you, good sir.
Any work for me here by any chance?
That depends. How's your hearing?
What?
I said, how's your hearing?
It's perfectly fine. You don't have to scream at me. I mean, why are you asking?
Because there is this one little job going. But I need someone who knows the area well and has
This
good
game
ears.
came out during the height of the migrant crisis discourse, didn't it? Yes, this dude, it sure did.
I ought to be able to handle that.
Fine. So here's the problem. My friend is a birder, and he left a few rare nightingales with me for safekeeping. They're good to trade. Rich gentlemen hang them caged up in their chambers. It keeps their wives from fretting when they're off drinking and wenching.
I see.
The trouble is the nightingales are gone. I don't know how, but the birds have flown.
Hang on, surely you're not asking me to go flapping around looking for birds?
Not exactly. Luckily, their wings are clipped, so they won't be far, and the watchman in the tower told me they headed off toward Brannick. I have traps prepared. It should be easy enough to catch them in those.
Fine, but how will I know where to put the traps?
I hear they like pine woods, and there's a pine-covered hill just before Brannick.
Right, a bloody great wood.
That's just why you need to listen out. Nightingales have a distinctive song. When you hear it close by, you set a trap on the spot. They kept twittering away the whole time they were here, so I can remember the tunes. I'll sing them to you.
I can't wait.
It went something like this.
What? People keep birds like that in their houses? It's like the sound a
God.
cat makes when you pull it by the
Comedy.
You know how it is. The gentry's got all manner of odd tastes. The question is, can you remember it?
tail. Yes, I'll remember.
Right, here are the traps.
Comedy.
Don't forget, once you hear a nightingale,
I like
set a trap
the,
nearby. You ought to be caught
you
in it
know,
after a while.
broad,
Do that.
the broad lower... Blah. More of these. I don't actually care that much.
I'd like you to show me some hunting tricks.
Certainly.
Beginner.
I'd like to practice the basics.
All right, but it'll cost you.
How much money do we have? Not nearly enough.
Maybe another time.
God, it's so expensive. Why is everything so expensive? How much... Sorry, the economy here makes no sense. Oh good, we are now out of the ring. This is fine. Anyway, nightingales. According to the Aberdeen Bestiary, the nightingale has a sweet song and loves to sing. It sings to relieve the tedium as it sits on its nest through the night. At dawn it sings so enthusiastically that it almost dies. Sometimes nightingales compete with each other with their songs, and the one that loses the competition often dies. Furthermore, is compared to a poor mother. The poor but modest mother, her arm dragging the millstone around, that her children may not lack bread, imitates the nightingale, easing the misery of her poverty with a nighttime song, and although she cannot imitate the sweetness of the bird, she matches it in her devotion to duty. Thank you, bestiary.ca. We appreciate you. Now, nightingales absolutely are kept in the period as an elite pet. The only part that made me go, about that, right, their wings being clipped is fine. The idea that they would be kept, that you would hand off cargo to someone you trust when you have to travel away, and that cargo might include live animals, is fine. This guy, making fun of elite people for having weird and bad taste is fine. The assumption that the only reason you're getting a nightingale is to distract your wife while you are being a terrible husband is not fine. As it turns out, even as a throwaway line, this guy is blue. Chat, tell me you're with me right here. This guy is not a raining sky. Asking a random search for lost cargo? Probably not. But putting out a call for people to apply to do the job? Right, putting out the call for people to do the job, and then hiring one of them, is fine. It's over another church. Read. Kickstarter backers. Peter Novak, Verunka. Kickstarter backers. Of dubious blasphemy, but that is okay. God, this room is great. This bit of the church in particular is actually phenomenal. Oh, it's not about Niram. My complaint with these is not, that from a modern perspective I give a shit. It's fine, though they are slightly uncanny valley. My complaint is that from a medieval historical accuracy care, extremely blasphemy. God, they have fancier halos than the actually Jesus does. Okay, actually, my one complaint. This is the wrong halo for actually Jesus. Actually, Jesus always gets a different halo. Okay, not always, but almost always. This dude, you are correct that this is an alms chest. Notably, it is listed as pay an indulgence. And pay a bloody expensive indulgence, too. Holy shit. What is our currency in this game? What is the name of it? It's G somethings. Groschen. Thank you. Fantastic. There's a specific entry on it. Amazing. The Prashki Grosh is a silver coin that's issued by Vassal II of Bohemia since 1300. Amazing. How much is this? That's really all I care about. We are wiki crunching on this, right? We are we are just using Wikipedia, but that's okay because Wikipedia is actually super useful for this sort of lookup, right? History research spoiler chat. The terms of the things of the silver content and relative value of a coin is perfect for what Wikipedia does. So it is at least a silver coin, which is helpful. And at this time, it's about 1.5 grams of silver. It looks like. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. So, quote, in documents of the era, like e.g. the Peace of Thorn in 1411, large amounts of money were given in a more convenient unit, called the Latin sexagena, of Prague groschen, which equals to a Czech term kopa, 5 dozen, which is a half of a small gross, which is 60. What that means, let's take a look at this Piece of Thorn specifically for how much... What is the term of this? How much money is this actually? Okay. The mercenary Holbrook von Loin had to pay 150 kopas of Prague groschen, so 150 times 60. That's a lot of money. I mean, that is a lot of money. That's 30 kilos of silver. So that is a lot of money. But at the same time, our indulgence... you know, maybe I don't hate that. Right? Our indulgence is 100 groschen. Which is to say, like, 1.5 kopas. Maybe I don't hate that. That feels like a reasonable amount for an indulgence. Right? That feels like a reasonable amount for an indulgence. It just feels like... but then in contrast, right, this... to get trained by this random guy in basic hunting... So? Why was his... Sir, you are the only person I have seen have subtitles in Czech this entire game. Sir, do you just speak in Czech?
Jesus Christ be praised.
No.
Have you heard anything about the Cumans in Sigismund's army?
I don't know if it's just old wives' tales, but I heard truly terrible things.
Yeah, I just haven't seen anything subtitled in Czech before, right? This is the first time we've actually seen someone have things subtitled in Czech in our Czech game. It is appreciated. I was just like, wait, did I change my settings? Did I accidentally switch my subtitles to be in Czech? The answer is no. For some reason, they just have the subtitles for the incidental singing in Czech. Okay, so I've just been missing it. Amazing. We love that. So. Yeah. I don't know, I am suspicious. There's something weird in this economy, right? I can't shake the vibe that there is something weird about the economy in this game. And I can't tell whether, no, scratch that, I can tell exactly what it is. Let's go take a look at the food, or actually we can do it right here. So, a sword being expensive makes sense, but like this random axe, I mean it's mostly broken, is worth 7 groschen. A torch is worth 2. Right, food's cheap. Well, no. Why is the food... That's a lot of silver for a pretzel. What is daily wages? I guess that is the thing I am most confused with. Wages in Prague in the Middle Ages. We're gonna see if we can find that. Because if anyone happens to know, do let me know, because all of the entire economy hinges on whether there is actually whether daily wages actually make sense for a random scarf to be 12 groschen. So, what, almost 20 grams of silver? I don't know that's actually gonna... that's not necessarily going to be easy to do. This might be an inflationary economy. It is slightly inflationary. They were recently reduced from 2 grams of silver to 1.5 grams of silver. But... per working day... Whatever. I'm not going to worry too much about it. I don't know enough to... right? It's striking me as, like, a bit all over the place for an in-game economy. But whether or not that's actually an inaccuracy, I don't actually know enough to say. I don't do economics. It's not my thing. I'm not all that into it. I'm mostly like, wow, some of these things are weirdly expensive. Yeah, I mean, coins values can vary a lot. But, you know, what are the odds that this game actually, like, cares at all about, well, the details of how close we are to the harvest? What do you think the odds are that we actually care?
God be with you.
I'm here for training.
Yes.
Yes, you're that boy Sir Radzig said.
Yes, that's me.
Let's get to it then. That's what Sir
We
Radzig
could have protested that we are, for the first time ever, not a boy.
Because you've never held a sword in your hand before, we'll start with something simple.
1 groschen was enough for a few eggs or a hen. Okay, so 1 grosch is a hen. Okay, so 1.3 for a pretzel makes no goddamn sense, right? I can buy 1 chicken or 2/3 of a pretzel. Let's start with the basics. But let's
Come
do
with
basics.
me and listen closely. I don't want to be repeating myself. Farewell. So let's see what you're made of. Hold it properly. Keep moving. Never stand still when your life depends on it. Right, good. Now, try attacking.
Great.
You've got to put your back into a good slash. No use waving the sword around like you're swatting flies. Go into the attack with your whole body. Try slashing from various sides to get used to it.
What? Why is it not? Let me slash.
Well done. Good. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad.
Not bad.
That
Not
pointy
bad.
tip isn't for decoration. Try stabbing me with it a few times. Ah, that's it. Well done. Ah, that's it. That will do. Slashing, stabbing, and movement are the foundations that you build everything else on. Now, let's try something more complicated. One strike, I can simply fend off. You mustn't give your opponent time to react.
Come on, Chad.
String your strikes together. As soon as you finish one, begin another. Strike, strike, strike. Well done. All right. Very good. Now let's see
I
how
have to
you
keep in
do
mind the
with
percentage of silver and groschen
Not
diminished in
hard
the
to block
14th
a
century.
basic strike.
Yeah, I was accounting with
Watch
that.
out. Move your sword into the path of the blow. Well done.
Really?
Very good.
That one made sense.
Well done.
Well done. Chat, remember, every time he says well done, say well done.
Well done.
Well done.
Very well then. Let's see what you're made of, lad. Come at me and don't hold back. Good strike. Ow.
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 Yep. He's just gonna roll me with all of these. What the heck? Yeah, see? Hooray. For a simple job, you could have 3 groschen a week. There we go. Jan, thank you so much. That is exactly the info I needed to have.
Fine. That's enough. I have my work cut out, it seems. That's life. Let's try something more advanced. When in combat, keep an eye on the space between you and your opponent. That is your space. Try to attack from the side the opponent will find harder to block in time. If I'm holding the sword raised up, do an uppercut. If my sword is low, lunge. Let's try it. You strike a few times at the side where I'm not holding my sword. No, not like that. Ah, that's it. Not bad. Wrong.
Come on,
Again.
he just snapped his sword after I inputted the direction, by the way.
Ah,
For the
that's
record,
it.
he had his sword up and then he snapped it to the
Good.
direction after I did the input. See? He does that every
No,
time.
Again.
Every time. Anytime it's high, it's gonna bug out.
Nice. Right. Lesson 2. Everything you've learned about blocking is wrong. When I cover, I can simply fend off your blows with my sword and gain control of the space between us. It's better not to control just the space, but actually your opponent's weapon. Attack, and I'll show you.
Where did my sword go? I thought it flew off into the sunset.
All right, that will do. Now you. The trick is to stay in your stance. As soon as I start to attack, you block. The move knocks the blade aside. No, not like that.
What?
You mustn't hold the sword there. You have to move along with the attack.
I did.
Again. Good.
Uh-huh. What?
Well done.
Oh, that actually worked. What? There we go.
Ah, that's it.
No, we're too soon.
Too soon again.
Yep. Oh, come on, you baited me.
Try and catch the rhythm. See the sword
He
move,
baited me with
you
the
move at
slow-mo.
the same time and deflect it. Good. Not bad. Right, now we'll try it a little faster. Concentrate
good.
and block just at the moment I start attacking. I'll strike you from above each time so you can see it well.
Perfect.
Well done.
Ow. Come on. Hit me. For God's sake.
Right.
Actually attack me, please. God, it's so slow-mo.
Not bad.
It's so slow-mo.
Good.
I mean, it's free training, which I love, but that's fine. Also,
All right.
I'm standing too close, but then
Good.
he says,
Now let's try it at
Huh.
full speed. You probably won't succeed, but that's normal at the start. You must train. Let's go.
We got like, that's 4 in a row. Come on. Come on. Okay.
Captain Bernard!
Wait a while, Henry.
Hans, what's up?
Greetings, Sir Hans. What brings you here?
God, that was a
I
lot.
was on my way when I noticed that you're entertaining Sir Radzig's esteemed guest.
Yes, yes.
Not the same as holding a hammer, is it, blacksmith?
By the way, Chad,
Radzig's
for the
orders.
record, we have not seen...
I know. I'm actually here to train at the archery range. My hand's grown heavy lately. You don't mind, do you, Bernard?
Not at all, my lord.
I would like
Good
to
day
note that we have never
to
seen
you,
Henry do
boy.
work.
Try not to hurt yourself.
I would like to note that we have not actually seen Henry do
Wait till we
blacksmithing.
finish. Yeah, leading the opponent where you want him. There's
So,
one more way to evade a strike.
there was a comment on the
Step
VOD, the
aside.
first one, which just
Attack.
went
I'll
up.
show you.
Whoa, what the heck
What
is...
is it? Sudden
What the heck
visitation
is
by the
happening?
Holy Spirit?
I just completely lost all... It just lost all control of my
try it.
camera.
It's important not to move too soon. I'll see where you're going and hit you. But the same will happen if you move too late. I'll attack slowly now. As you see me, raise the weapon, jump aside. You'll throw the opponent off a bit, and there's your chance.
Uh-huh.
Well done. Not bad.
God. What? I dodged that.
Wrong, damn it!
Come on. Up again?
No, again. Fine. Now try it a little quicker. Try and get used to the rhythm. Never take your eyes off your opponent.
Uh-huh.
See a strike before it's even properly started.
Uh-huh.
Ah, that's it.
Woohoo.
Well done.
Yep, attack from above again. There we go. Let me
Well
attack
done.
back. Let me attack back, dang it.
And the last thing
He,
for today.
he does actually teach
a
like
trick.
an actual instructor.
Raise the sword to force your opponent to block, but then change the
I
direction
will
of
say
the
he
attack
actually
at the
does
last
do that.
moment, and the opponent won't even know what hit him. Try it. Draw back the weapon, then change the attack zone and strike, so I don't have time to react.
What?
No, that's not it. Wrong.
Oh,
Again.
got it.
Well done. No, that's not it. Wrong. Damn
What?
it.
I am literally doing the thing.
No, not
I am-
like that.
I am literally doing the thing. There we go.
Not bad. Ah, that's it.
See, he just snapped to
No,
that defense.
Not like that.
He snapped to that defense real fast.
Ah, that's it. Not bad.
Not bad.
Well now, that wasn't too bad. Maybe we'll make a soldier of you after all. But don't get cocky.
Uh-huh.
You have to train hard and persistently.
Uh-huh.
You might have talent, but talent alone won't do.
I don't have talent, don't worry.
Whenever you've got nothing better to do and you're in the mood for it, you can come and train here with me. I can teach you something more when you're up to it.
Okay.
Don't
Anyway,
leave yet.
the comment on the previous video, on the previous VOD, had been about a comment we made about traveling. In that, it seems like nobody travels. Right? And Henry, it's so weird that Henry has never been to Sasau, which is all of less than a day away. That way, yeah. I think that way. The comment, of course, it doesn't, Henry not traveling doesn't mean that nobody travels, which is fair. Which is very fair. That being said, there's two things with this. Firstly, Henry Henry is our point of view character, and that means Henry's experiences are representative. Right? Henry's experiences are by necessity representative of how we understand the period. And so the fact that Henry doesn't travel at all ends up being indicative of everyone else. And secondly, it means that Henry is completely goddamn useless. We never even see him, like, making nails. Nothing suggests he's actually very talented as a smith, even though he's in an apprenticeship with his father, who is a master smith. We don't do anything. We are literally just a layabout who happens to be miraculously talented at whatever the player wants to become talented at. Which makes it weird, because realistically, if he's in an apprenticeship, he is accompanying people, his father, in the work of the apprenticeship. So he's going to be traveling to Sasau to deliver the crossguard to the workshop, or engaging in journeyman, building contacts in Prague. Right? We're trying to match player ignorance of the world to character ignorance of the world. I agree, Ikelas. I think that's a dumb thing to do. I think that is an aggressively dumb thing to do, because that doesn't make Henry a character, that makes him a blank slate for him to for the rest of the world to abuse us.
And another thing, put on this arm guard. Without it, you could flay your
Exactly, the whole
forearm with a
society just
bowstring,
spends around
so
what he
be
wants.
sure to wear it.
Right? We don't get punished
Thank you,
for
Captain.
doing a really dumb thing
Save
and
the
walking
thanks.
into a Doctor
Get in
Strangelove
position.
conference.
Now concentrate.
/Banterfest /
the
you
weapon
can't
of
fight
choice
here,
of
this
a
is the
knife
war
that
room.
Can come in very handy. You've got two bandits coming at you from a distance. You shoot one in the eye, drop your bow, and draw your sword on the other. Emperor Charles, God rest him, encouraged his subjects to learn archery. He even
That's
organized
true.
contests in Prague.
Nice exposition.
You would
Can we shoot him?
Far there. You're holding the thing like a piece of firewood. But enough talk. There's the target. Try and hit it. Draw the bow, aim, and release.
Speaking of apprenticeships,
Try to
can
get
we
a
talk
feel
about
for the
journeyman?
rhythm.
Yeah, we can
Inhale
talk
on
about
the
journeyman
draw.
a little
Hold
bit.
your breath for a moment, and then release the string. No
The range is
jerky
not
movements.
clear.
Just let the string slide out of your fingers, as if you were about to draw it back more. It's all one movement. The arrow aiming at the target and flying at it. Shoot away. What you have there is a training bow. The arrow drops quickly. Once you've trained a bit, you can get yourself a better one, and then those arrows will fly so fast you won't see them. Don't forget the arm guard. Once you've mastered the bow a bit, you won't need it anymore.
Where are you shooting,
Close.
you dolt?
Well, that was awful. I didn't imagine a village yokel
Yes.
like you would have much skill, but you failed to meet even my low expectations.
I
Well,
don't know
for you.
why you're wasting your
It would
time,
take train.
Sir Bernard. Nothing will come of it
It would
anyway.
take training,
And the first
which is
sign of
why in
trouble,
England
run
in this
away like any
period,
other
people
cowardly
were
peasant.
obligated to practice
After
archery
all,
since
we've
the
done
age
it
of 10
before.
by decree of Edward III.
What did you say?
Calm down, boy. Keep in mind who you're talking to.
A braggart who was born with a silver spoon in his mouth.
Now, you've really done it. You'll go to the stocks for that.
Calm yourself, Sir Bernard. If the blacksmith boy feels he can prove himself, then let him
No,
try.
I can't beat them.
Do you think you can beat me? Well,
No.
Time.
Absolutely not.
very well. If you defeat me, I'll give you my bow. If you lose, you'll have to pay.
So where's saves coming,
Do
right?
you even have any coin?
I don't have enough.
Then you'll owe me or work it off. Let's get to it.
Why are we dumb? I mean, I knew we were going to make bad decisions, but... Well, we hit the target. We missed the target. I'm shooting too far to the left, but I don't feel like I actually have any control over the damn thing. What? Okay, that literally snapped. Amazing. I am truly just... I don't get a choice in the matter. I'm just... Hey, that was actually a hit. There we go. Ah, he landed a bullseye.
Congratulations, Sir Hans. Nicely shot.
Thank you, Bernard. It seems I get to keep the bow. So, blacksmith, do you know your place now, or do you need more reminding?
Your quick
So,
releases
Hans,
are
is
fine,
this
except for
necessary?
please don't
Johannes
backseat me on
already
this.
had words
Okay?
about you fighting with your subjects. He explicitly told me.
I know what he told you. You can just tell him I didn't listen to you.
So
what's it going to be, blacksmith?
If we must.
Excellent. Then let's go.
the reason why I don't want you to backseat me on that is that it's not actually something I...
Dopsy-diddy.
Ha.
Bollocks.
Ow. Ow. I blocked that. I disagree. I disagree with that too. Thank you, camera.
Show what you're made of.
Okay.
Yeah. Bring.
What? Again, camera. I dodged that. Hello? Hello? And that was not... Again, dodging. I'm glad my dodge button doesn't work. There we go.
This won't take long.
Cunt!
Yeah, check squares right there. Again. Thank you.
Come over here.
I strongly disagree. This combat is extremely unfun for the record.
Take that. No. God damn. Well, we're even then. It looks like I get to keep my bow and you your groschen. I suppose I should give you credit for taking
That being
on
said,
my
I still
challenge,
win.
despite your limitations.
Thank you, sir.
Godspeed, blacksmith. And don't worry, this isn't the last time we'll meet.
I was definitely
We'll have more fun.
reacting in time for that, for the record. I was reacting in time and the dodges just weren't working. But yeah, we did actually beat him, so that's fun. It is not enjoyable combat by any record. It is less bad than it was. It was less bad than it was a little bit ago, but it still is not great. But we won, so we take those. We take that 100% of the time. Anywho, we were going to talk about Journeyman before we got distracted by being bad at archery. The thing with archery, by the way, is that quick draws are theoretically better if you're lined up in the first place, but given that it arbitrarily just decides, no, you're not lined up if you just quick draw, certainly was for me. At this point of leveling, just saying, oh, just quick draw, is not going to solve that problem. And so please don't backseat me until I have enough levels in it that it isn't garbage. Remember, guidance is appreciated. Backseating because you're like, oh, you just don't understand the mechanics, is not. Anyway, on that note, back to history, while I do leveling up with Journeyman. Because we do have actually quite a few things to be working on. What do these actually do? So. All those are bad. I don't actually want any of those. In this period, we are about 100 years into what is known as our emergent middle class. Which is probably a weird way of saying that, but, you know, realistically, as urban centers expand, we, over the course of the 12th century, we start to see guilds appear, and professional workshops for free, urban, not noble-born, common-born people who have workshops and are participating in elaborate networks of trade. And as such, these guilds end up developing inter-city networks. What do these actually do? Wait, sprint slower. Gotcha. Wow. Revenant is good. You are correct, Magistressa, that journeyman does not actually mean that they are someone who travels around. It is a borrowing from French, not from German, and so it is, you are correct, it's from journée, referring to a day's wages. That is all very true. That being said, these intercity guilds would have a lot of trade going on. So as a members of the same profession in different urban guilds would travel to each other, both to get new wares, do business, exchange, set up deals, all that sorts of things. And so you might have a cloth maker in Lyon, which is one of the big silk dyeing centers in in medieval France, going on trade to the Levant in order to get dyes. Their journeymen, their apprentices, or sometimes their journeymen, would end up traveling with them. Additionally, depending on where you are, things may be somewhat different. One, two, three. Okay. / step. Things might be, sorry, I lost track of that thought by the upgrades. Let's go Rastrick. Where was that thought going? Apprentices would travel with their masters, and sometimes, depending on where you are, so in Germany and the Low Countries, journeymen would travel independently. There's law codes, I think, from Munich, that encode how guild members were supposed to travel around for a period at the end of their apprenticeship. So you have both independent journeymen traveling around to various guilds, mostly in North Central Europe, and while still in their apprenticeship, traveling with their masters to be able to do all sorts of stuff. And yeah, so this is going to be true for a lot of guilds, but blacksmithing is one of the, is most certainly one of them. Although there are fewer formal guilds that I'm aware of for blacksmithing versus various aspects of trade, you still absolutely are getting people traveling around. So in the case of our dear sweet boy Henry here, who is neither dear nor sweet, nor really a boy, contrary to what everyone in the game says, the idea that he would not have traveled to Sasau to deliver the raw crossguard to be engraved at the start of the game is practically laughable. Right, it's absurd. It's frankly ridiculous. The most likely alternative scenario is that Martin, his father, was the one who traveled to Sasau to deliver it and go over the plans. Then one of the engraver's apprentices traveled back from Sasau to give the completed crossguard. But, like, why would Henry not have accompanied his father on that trip? For reasons other than wanting us to be ignorant. It doesn't make sense.
You better hope his lordship hasn't taken it badly.
Oh, he certainly did.
He shouldn't have challenged me.
Careful. You might be under Sir Radzig's protection.
Although we're dumbasses,
Be
by
wise
the way.
to stay on good terms with the other noblemen, too. Now, go to the Rathaus. The bailiff's waiting for you there.
All right, Captain.
For the record, we are a bit dumb. Awesome. So Yucheng and the wages did not change a lot, but prices did. Day's wage for a master mason or carpenter was 3 to 4 groschen a day in the 14th century, and in the 1460. Unqualified craftsman, which Henry absolutely would count as, was 4 to 7 groschen a week. So let's be generous, 6 groschen a week. Our current amount of money is 13.6 groschen. The scarf we are wearing is a week's wages. The scarf we are wearing is a full week's worth of wages. Does that make sense to any? This pretzel is more than a day's wages if we are bad at our jobs. The sword being bloody expensive makes sense. Let's be clear, the sword being expensive is correct. That's fine. Henry is the millennial that eats avocados and doesn't buy diamonds? True. This economy is trash. Oh no, our cabbages. You are very true. This economy is trash. As it turns out, this economy, when we start digging into it, does not make sense. Does this matter? Not particularly. I'm sure this was the result of quite a bit of internal testing about how things work, and what prices feel remotely fun, with some grounding in historical reality. But I am a petty bastard, and so we are dinging them for historical accuracy for pretzels being more than a day's wages. Speaking of which, I want a pretzel now. God, that's so funny. Pretzels wind up being more expensive than a day's wages. Absolutely incredible stuff right there. So, at this point I think we actually are qualified to start saying...
Let it bake a bit, you'll be able to feed the whole family with fresh breads. Get them!
Okay, yeah, women participating in the actual trade, we love that. Pancakes, we love those. So we like that. We like that women are actually participating in the trade at least as much as the men are, because this is good. This is correct and good.
Bread baked just this morning. Bread.
Nothing you read about journeymen is to be promoted to master. Some places have rules that you need to be married, and in some cases nepotism means that your best chance is to marry a guildsman's widow or daughter. That is, as far as I know, very true. Yeah. 7 groschen a week. 1.2 groschen, so, right? 7 groschen a week translates to 1 grosch per day. And the pretzel costs 1.2. Right? Did I do that math right? Yeah, the pretzel is 1.2. The pretzel is 1.2 groschen. If you're earning 7 groschen a week, that's 1.1 per day, which means that your single pretzel is 0.2 groschen.
Man cannot live by bread alone.
0.2 groschen more expensive than your day's wages.
Cucumbers, lovely cucumbers.
God, it's so funny. Did I miss-say something there? But yeah, no. A pretzel costs more than you earn in a day. You do starve to death. There is a 100% chance of starving to death in this economy. Hi. I feel like I'm not supposed to be here. Oh! Oh, it's a tailor. This is not where I'm supposed to be. But I do like that outfit. Honestly, they do a really good job with the texture of fabrics. I am very pleased with the texture of fabrics here, because the texture of fabrics feels, if not right, at least plausible. That's the armor, so that's not right. That's a lockpick. I have no lockpicks by which to do things with. Hello. Okay. That also is not the right place. I feel like if a pretzel cost over a day's wages in this part of Europe, they'd riot immediately. In general, I feel like that's just an in general sort of thing. If your thing costs more than a day's wages, right? If a pretzel costs more than you earn in a day, just riot. It's easier that way. Wait, is this actually the Rathaus? This is the Rathaus. Amazing. Oh, Bailiff, I love your hat. I love your Saint... yeah, St. George. Look at the cross. I love your Svata Yuji. And... I actually don't love the Rathaus here. Rathaus, however you want to describe that. Hey look, can we ding them for asset reuse? Can we ding them for asset reuse? Is that too petty? I feel like that might be slightly too petty. This is not fancy enough. I 100% agree. This is not a fancy enough thing. The fact that the bailiff has living chambers here is great. Hello, it is a lovely day. It is a lovely day in the neighborhood, and you are the saint of the geese. But, yeah, right, this is well, this isn't the most egregious. Right, I'm not gonna ding this one too hard on the grounds that not every council building is incredibly fancy. And at least it is in the right location. Right, town square, pillory there, traders should be all over this. You know, never mind. I am going to ding this, because why is it a row of houses? Why is there a mass in the church? No. What was the bells ringing for? Wait, I wasn't even paying attention. If there's none, why are they dinging the bells? I guess they could be keeping track of the hours? Oh hey, it's just the Requiem. What is that? Dona eis Requiem Domine et lux perpetua in Luciat eis? God, that's distressing. But seeing that in the daylight is distressing. Requiem aeternam Dona eis Domine et lux perpetua Luciat eis et... whatever. At something requiescat in pace, amen. Requiescant in pace, amen. I gotta be accurate on my Latin grammar. I have... Martin of Tours is the patron saint? Why is Martin of Tours the patron saint of geeks? What? Manifesta, I appreciate you looking that up. I have additional questions. Okay, I like this all being a row of shops. Like... don't get me wrong, I like this being a row of shops. I like the... but I do wonder, why is the town hall directly on top of the tailor? And why is it buried in this otherwise unremarkable row of houses? That may be right based on excavations of this town. I don't know enough to say otherwise. This isn't completely impossible, but I'm also confused. This seems unusual to me, though I won't say unusual is the same thing as impossible. What I will be annoyed by is the chandelier. I just don't... chandeliers aren't always, like, all over the place in historical media when they're not that common. They're just not that historically common. Candelabra? Great. But chandeliers in this period feels unusual. I don't know, maybe let's actually look that up. I have the power. You're here, you're a captive audience. You're a captive audience, so we don't... okay. No, 15th century, we do actually have chandeliers. Okay. Never mind, I take that back. I'm too used to early medieval. For it is written that a large flock of wild geese were destroying her growing corn by feeding on it. She had them confined in a certain house as if they were domestic geese. In the morning when she called them ready to send them out, she saw that one was missing. On the inquiry, she heard it had been eaten by the servants. Bring me, she said, the feathers and bones of the bird that has been eaten. When they were brought to her, this bride of high God commanded that it should be. From Henry of Huntington's Historia Anglorum. Okay, I will take it back. I am too used to doing criticizing chandeliers in early medieval media, in which they are not a thing. Sir, are you okay? By the 15th century, they're actually fine. Our more immediate question is that the town bailiff is a bit busy dissociating right now. Like, that is a dead stare. This guy has seen a lot recently and is just not having a good day. One look at this guy and you're like, we should definitely not bother him. There's been no extended archaeological research in Rattay. I think these houses are based on much younger maps. Well, 19th century. Okay, that is appreciated, Jan. I'm so glad you're here. I'm gonna message you after stream. If you don't see something in the morning, please bug me. We need to get you actually on here properly in the next couple of weeks.
Good day to you.
Who can teach
I
me
want
to
to
read?
learn to read. Who should I go and see?
There's a retired scribe in Uzhitz. He could teach you.
Amazing.
What kind of governor is Sir Hanush?
Young Sir Hans is our governor, but Sir Hanush is his guardian till he comes of age. That's not a day I'm looking forward to.
Absolutely nobody knows how the houses look like above ground level. Yeah, that sounds
like
about
in
right.
Rattay?
I get the
This
sense
is a
that they're using
manorial town,
just
and our
whatever
Lord hasn't got
examples
himself
survive.
tangled up in affairs of state,
Right, because there's
so
not that
it's
many
peaceful
houses who survive above foundations. In general, from medieval Europe.
How do the
So I'm
Rattay
guessing they
folk
just
get
use
on
are
with the
using
refugees?
anything from
I
anywhere.
know they got nowhere to
these
go.
aren't
Skalitz
substantively
is a
different
pile
from
of
like
ashes and the countryside ain't safe. But
what's
they've
his
been here
name?
too long. Some of those buggers got light fingers, and not a one of them appreciates the sacrifices we made for them.
Okay. Whatever. Some of the houses, Barley Hall in York, right, is fundamentally quite similar to these, and it actually survived relatively,
about the Cumans in
emphasis
Sigurd's
on
army?
relatively,
Everywhere they go,
intact
they
from its
pillage,
medieval
rape,
walls.
and slaughter.
In fact,
Or
I
so
feel
the
like
tales have it. Of
right.
course,
So
all
you just kind of
armies do
use
that, but
whatever
them
examples survive
barbarians
from
take
wherever you
pleasure
can,
in it.
get as geographically close as you can, and then you just call that a day. Which I can't blame them for.
Master Bailiff, is there anything of interest going on here?
Nothing of interest to me, thank Christ.
I'm to put myself under the bailiff's command.
Yep.
Ah, so you're the young man Sir Radzig appointed.
Yes, we are.
Yes.
Very well. Sir Radzig asked me to test you a little, and as it happens, you've come at the right time. We've a few disputes to settle. It seems some of your former neighbors have been acting quite inappropriately.
Uh-oh.
I was hoping having one of their own on the town watch might help sort things out.
I'm not sure. I'm just a boy from a forge.
Not anymore, lad. Now you're a part of Sir Radzig's retinue.
Who has done
That
zero
brings
forging in his
responsibilities.
life.
Have you been
As
to
far as
see
I can
Captain
tell.
Bernard?
I have, and I have the bruises to prove it. The captain doesn't hold back.
The harder the training, the easier the battle. Well, anyway, you're going to assist my town guard. Come to the church in the afternoon. Yaroslav the watchman, Nightingale they call him, will wait for you there. He'll show you around the town and teach you a little about keeping the peace.
Okay.
And you
More
need to stop by
exposition.
the armory to pick up some
More
gear.
exposition.
Yes, bailiff.
Take care.
We got 70 groschen. We just got 3 months of wages.
Asparagus and prunes.
Right, we just got wages for 3 months gifted to us, which, you know, again makes a little bit of sense. Right, I'm not gonna be too upset about that given the in-game economy. Just let's emphasize exactly how much money we just got. We got a lot of cash. Now this makes some sense because, right, I'm more, in this shocking turn of events, I'm more familiar with early modernity than I am with the medieval examples here. But the medieval examples here, or sorry, those early modern examples suggest that part of the problem is that nobody wants to pay. Right? Nobody wants to pay the town watch. And so part of that is they're required to furnish their own equipment. So in early modern Low Countries, this means only people who are already fairly wealthy and are doing this as a lazy prestige job and can provide their own equipment are going to be doing that. In contrast, in the Middle Ages, we can quietly assume that Radzig is the one who is actually paying this money. That as one of his a soldier in his employ, he is responsible for arming a certain number of people. And so we get gifted money to arm ourselves. This makes sense because the wealth gap, right? The wealth disparity in the Middle Ages is obscene. It is actually enormously huge. Aachen. Huh? 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 Let me, Sorry. Okay. So... Fine. I needed to double check something here, because I was distressed at the cost. I was extremely distressed on the cost of that. And I think I deserve to be distressed at the cost of that. But there are significant... Yeah. Okay. Significant ransoms. Right, so like 1411, in the Piece of Thorns I mentioned earlier, right, Holbrock von Neuem had to pay 150 kopas of, Prashki Grosh. Right, Prashki Groschen. And so I was like, I think, right, we did the math of that. 60 times 150 comes out to like 9,000. 9,000 for a high-status mercenary plus all of his stuff. And so I looked at these prices, I was like, you know, 3,000 groschen. I was like, okay, those are a lot. Those are expensive. These are extremely expensive. Holy moly. Holy moly. The thing is, right, my sense of these ransoms is that these are effectively charging exorbitant amounts, right? That 9,000 for a single mercenary is deliberately completely obscene, because the peace treaty I mentioned, which is a decade after this, is just like a lump sum, just sort it all out. Bohemia, Poland, just sort it out. Y'all do just do whatever you need to. Or, yeah. Sorry, it's not Bohemia and Poland. Sorry, it's Poland and the Teutonic Knights. Right, the Teutonic Order and Poland are just like, we're just gonna lump sum deal with this. Full exchange, full treaty, whatever. And so, right, that is the 9,000 groschen is deliberately, this is our initial offer, let's haggle that down to be like half that. Which makes these prices ridiculous. 4,000 for a piece of armor, or 9,000 for a high-status mercenary. So, yeah, I can't afford a single bleeding thing. Which is wild. What I am surprised by here... God, you have no oomph left. The thing I am extremely surprised by here... Oh, are the van braces way better than what I've got? Okay. let's actually... What things can we actually sell? We don't have a lot left that we can sell. It may make sense for us to quick stop by home, right? It may make sense for us to stop by our chest out here. Let me fast travel and see what things we actually have in order to go, hey, can we actually sell enough stuff to be able to afford a piece of armor that doesn't suck? The answer is almost certainly no, but that is okay. We want to try it. We want to do what we can. But like, we're not going to be able to afford what these guys have. Right? We're supposed to be doing the town watch, but we don't have anything of these guys. We're not given enough money to be able to outfit ourselves effectively for the job. Which is wonky as can be, but that's okay. I kinda just want to bail and walk into the... I'll be honest, I kinda want to bail and just walk into the woods and see what happens. But that's it. We won't do that quite yet, because there's less history to be had from bailing and wandering into the woods than there is from, you know, any remotely competent following the story plot. Also, if we could be able to sprint for longer than this, that would be awesome. The Tanner. Amazing. If we could be even slightly better, it would be appreciated. No? I get just giving gear. Okay. Well, that makes sense. That is useful information. Right. I appreciate that. Right, that is guidance. That is letting me know I don't need to worry about things. I'm trying to scrounge up money to afford anything. Because, yeah. Otherwise I was like, I'm curious how that works, because... Yeah, if we are required to be providing resources for literally anyone else, then yeah, we're gonna rapidly get into a problem. Because we can't afford anything. Which makes me question where we're gonna be at the end of the game. Right, how much money is the game going to throw at us at the end of the game? Where we're able to buy things that are worth several thousand? And basically have equivalent resources to a either very famous, successful mercenary or a low to mid status nobleman. In either circumstance, it's going to be bad for us. How much do the weapons cost, sir? Sir, how much do our weapons cost? With you. Huh? If we're being given a Bardiche, I would be thrilled. I would be absolutely... Right. With such a high quality... that was named after the biblical King Herod. No. Ooh, I do like that fellowship. I do like that falchion. Later on, you're able to loot occasional pieces. Right, looting it doesn't matter. It doesn't bother me too much. Oh, we literally can't use any of these. We could use a regular mace. We can't afford a regular mace. We're going to assume we're going to be given something. And if not, we do at least have a sword. We do at least have a sword.
Good day to you. What do you need?
Much more importantly, pretzels.
Let's talk about the price.
Well, we can try it.
Uh-huh.
What about this?
What about this?
Well, no. A little more, and we'll shake on it.
Nah.
Forget it, then.
Seriously?
I've lost everything.
Don't even be like that. Fine, we're only gonna do 5 of these, and we're gonna do 4 of those because I like pancakes. Because I like pancakes.
Can we do something about the price?
Why not?
We're just gonna try and get a half down.
Satisfied?
Well,
seriously?
A little more, and we'll call it a deal.
Seriously? Fine.
I'll go for that.
Fine. Carbs. Yep. I think we'll focus on carbs. What time is it? Nope, that's not the right button. That's also not the right button. The time is currently right when we need to head over here. Perfect. Wimples! I appreciate that Chad is enthusiastic about the Wimples. And carbs. Admittedly, I am also enthusiastic about the Wimples because Wimple is just an extremely enjoyable word. What's this star? What is this star about? Hello? Star? Why star you? Who are you and why are you? Hello.
Good day to you.
Uh-huh. Your inn looks extremely dead.
Do you know if there's anyone around here who could use my help?
Aye, there could be something for you. Sir Anish is convening the Rat's Eye tourney again at the Upper Castle. It's always a great occasion with duels all day long. You can still enroll now, if you think you're good enough. I'll be with you.
You're useless. God, I literally... No. I am not doing... Yes. We can enlist in our tournament, for some reason. And that'll be totally fine, we promise. Or I can not, because I don't enjoy this combat. Just saying. Just throwing it out there.
Certainly.
I would have the power to just not. What? What do you mean? Huh? Isn't that where I'm supposed to... Isn't that where I'm supposed to go? Uh-huh. I'm not trying to fast travel, I'm trying to... Oh, lower room. It's this room. No? Is it this room? It's this room. Hello.
I was told to pick up a kit here.
Name?
Henry.
Definitely our name. We
And?
promise.
In fealty to?
Sir Radzig Kobyla?
Yes. I've got you. Well, come on in then. Make yourself at home, Henry. If my memory serves me, you're
Amazing.
entitled to a helmet, a gambeson, and a club.
That's all?
That's not bad.
You want a kiss and a hug as well?
That's not bad.
I mean equipment.
It's quite enough for patrolling the town.
We
You're
do
there
have
to
our
stop
own
trouble,
sword, so that's
not
okay.
start it.
I'm not too offended by that. Because we at least get, you know, something. That button. I definitely remember what my buttons are. I promise. Alright, we'll use the club for now because I don't wanna waste my I don't want to waste my actually expensive stuff. Right, shard is expensive and it's not in great condition. So we're just gonna try and not get it in a bad way. But we do have a couple things to sell. Now that we've gotten better stuff, we have some stuff that I would like to sell off. This guy's in jail for failing to be properly hyped for the Packers' first game of the season. Oh boy. Is that the IRL actually today? Is it already that time? Heck. I'm unprepared for it to already be football season in the US. You know they do it? Magistressa. I know. I know. God, practically a sin.
Garlic, carrots, beetroot,
It's...
all that grows in the ground.
Be surprised preseason started a few weeks ago? You're gonna go see exactly right, Magistressa. I'm South Dakotan. I had the benefit of choice if I could be a Vikings fan or a Packers fan, and those were my options. That was my choice. Do you support? Oh, you're truly not giving me anything for any of my stuff. Incredible. Being from Michigan excuses you from caring about the NFL? True. That is the way. I get 14. Put me up to... I still can't afford any of the things I would actually want. Okay. Well. I go.
Let's have a word about the price.
Why not?
Haggling. I'm not getting...
What do you say to this?
We're getting there. Just drop the price a bit more.
Come on. Okay, fine. I got another half gross.
I agree.
I got another half grosh, and we'll take that. Successfully haggled. Grinding that speech. It's not football, it's kind of macho running. It's not football, it is kind of macho running in armor. Incredible. Interesting. I can make us good at speechifying against commoners, or good at speechifying to nobles. Or I could not suck at haggling. Ew. You know, 50% higher reputation when talking to women, the +1 speech bonus, you can persuade them more easily and can avail them of bath wenches service for free. Ew. Ew. Dusty Dog, welcome. This is Kingdom Come Deliverance, a game that came out in 2018 by Czech developer Warhorse Studios, that marketed itself as being the most historically accurate video game. I am a professional historian of the Middle Ages, and our chat hopefully also has some other professional professional historians of the Middle Ages around. And so we, being unbelievably petty, and myself having a publication in historical adaptation in video games, with a second one in press, shameless self-promotion, are going around talking about what is actually historical in this game and making fun of all the ways in which it is not. There's some enthusiasts too. Some people with degrees. We take people having degrees. At least having degrees is something.
Carrots and apples.
Now, what are we actually trying to do in our main quest here? Join. Oh, okay. It's just number B here. Hooray! But yes, the bath wench is like, okay, so this is actually like a trope. So right, there's definitely a trope among medieval romance traditions, of troubadours being untrustworthy slimeballs who are absolutely just trying to seduce people. From whence we get Horny Bard, right? D&D Horny Bard is in fact coming out of a medieval tradition of troubadours using their musical playing things to do shenanigans and be horny. This is very common in literary traditions, often spread by troubadours themselves, as it turns out. But don't put that in a video game, please. Please don't put that in your video games, because it is not a thing that is necessarily grounded in historical reality any more than most other literary tropes are, i.e. not totally ungrounded, but not great. But yeah, don't do that. Don't uncritically assume that a literary trope, and often a literary trope that's grounded in fear of people who travel, is historically accurate, and don't make that mechanically desirable because, yeah, persuading people to be sex workers and just being good at talking to women as, like, a thing that has a stat, it feels bad. Feels bad. This game has consistently had some issues with low-level mechanical misogyny, and that is another great and very blatant forgetting to name important characters.
Ready to get going. I'm Nightingale. Aren't you that lad the mill wench brought here on a cart?
Yeah. You're thinking of getting a degree in history? Unfortunately, there aren't many jobs available. Valid. Incredibly valid. I will say, though, if you're doing like at an undergrad level, right,
Teresa. Yes, she rescued
if you're
me.
doing an undergrad
She
level,
turned up with
a
Captain
history
Robot
degree
and his knights.
is like, it doesn't run a risk of you can't get a job.
Tell me,
Right.
how did you pay her back?
Well, I thanked her.
That's not much, is it? You should go and see her when you get a chance. So, how did you end up in the service of the bailiff?
Quest started courtship. Stop calling them Madrasa, you were correct. Please stop calling them wenches. We have period terms for them. Also, you could just say, right, you don't need to specify that someone named Teresa is probably socially female. Maiden, demoiselle, wife, worker, right, or, hey, here's another one, Teresa, the miller's niece. You know, her actual familial relationship. Not mill wench. God, what an... Instead of social relationship, or any of that, yeah. Big Daddy 4005. Oh, also earlier, Star Wars 1010. Thank you all for the follows. I appreciate it. I hope you're having a good time.
Be merciful, good neighbours. I live like you did.
But yeah, quick before I finish up here, history degrees. If it's undergrad level, still highly recommend doing a history degree, because history degrees are great for critical thinking. The practical advice is don't make history your only degree. Just do a dual degree. Do double major, do a history degree or a history minor, and then do something else. And that can be a really killer combination in the humanistic critical thinking department and the actual marketable skills department. And this dude, thank you for gifting Dusty Dog 222. Lovely gift yourself.
Don't leave a poor woman to starve. Sigismund took everything I had.
Exactly. Right, Arachnia Sparta, the only time it's acceptable is for the washing well wenches at the local Ren Fair, and that's because that's an intentional shtick that they're leaning into. I agree. We need to just, I'm going to save Ren Fair discussions for a couple weeks from now, but we are absolutely going to have a Ren Fair discussion, and the way in which this game sometimes feels very Ren Fairy.
I wanted to enter the service of Saradze.
But I want to actually go to another Ren Fair before I do that, so it'll be
You're
soon,
lucky, lad.
Soon,
Saradze must like you. Most lords would have just sent you on your way.
Gee, I wonder why he
Come with
likes
me,
us,
Henry.
Jeff.
We'll patrol the town and then check on the taverns to make sure they lock up in the evening.
I'm ready.
Don't forget, I'm supposed to try you out and, with the help of God, teach you something. So I expect you to deal with any misconduct yourself. I'll make sure you don't
I
do
haven't
anything
been to a Ren Fair
stupid.
in like
Let's go.
3 years? No.
This is our church,
No, longer
St.
than that.
Matthew's.
5 years? About 5 years. God, it's been a long time.
It serves not only as the house of God, but as the crypt of the lords of Lipa, our masters.
Uh-huh.
The gravedigger lives right round the corner. The priest, too.
Yeah?
Our parish priest.
Well, that's fine.
A man shouldn't speak ill about servants of the Lord.
Yeah, no one likes the parish priest. Another very trope. Right,
This is our
the trope we see of the parish priest being...
The bailiff and his hands live there, and our maestro protonotarius, the scribe, and the jailhouse. You don't want to see the inside, not even as a guard. Naturally, we have an executioner too, but he doesn't live in town.
Okay.
That wouldn't be proper, as I'm sure you know. He lives by Gallows Hill, the other side of the creek.
Okay.
This pillory was brand new in autumn, and 2 people have already been rotting on it.
Jeez.
The swordsmith lives here.
Yeah, the place with the swords on at the front, yeah. Were there, like, the kind of loving pastoral priests in medieval games? No. AC, everyone knows every priest is the partner from the Canterbury Tales.
Here now. Go and check it out, Henry.
Right? Everyone knows that every parish priest is the partner from the Canterbury Tales and no one else. Hey, what's going on?
What are you two screeching about? Stop making such a ruckus.
About time you turned up. This filthy beggar thinks.
My name is Jane.
She gets a
No
name.
one cares what your name is. This filthy beggar thinks she can come and stink in front of my shop. I want you to get rid of her.
What's the problem here?
This is my shop, and I won't have beggars sitting on my doorstep. Let her go and squat in a square. She won't be in anyone's way there, and there's plenty of folk to beg from.
Uh-huh.
Can't you show us some Christian charity, Armourer?
Caritas.
Have you any idea how much I've given away in
Caritas.
alms? Even to this witch only yesterday.
Is that true?
Might be, might not.
Did you get any arms or not?
Yes.
From the armourer here?
I don't know. And even if I did, that was yesterday, and my belly's empty again today.
That's true.
This game is precisely
would you
set
know
in
about
1403 in a 16 square kilometer area southeast of Prague. So it's about like 35 kilometers away from Prague, like a full day's journey. And It is set right. Historical context, Dusty Dog. In this time period, we are at the start of a civil war in the Holy Roman Empire between Wenceslaus IV, the heir to Charles IV, who built like half of the modern city of Prague, and Sigismund of Hungary and Luxembourg and a few other places, who is Wenceslaus's younger brother. Wenceslas was regarded in Czech historiography as not a very good king, and Sigismund is worse. So, you know,
We're both good Christians, aren't we? We should each
we
give
are good
something
Christians,
to the poor
Chad.
soul.
And what then?
Then Jane will be on her way. Immediately.
King Solomon now, are you, lad? Fine. Fine, have it your way.
We lose a bit of money.
God bless you, and you too, citizen. I won't be.
Wait, we're not a
no more,
citizen.
Really, thank you, thank you.
Jesus, you're as bad as each other.
We're not. We're not a citizen. Was she referring to him? He's a citizen. We're not a citizen. I don't know. We don't have enough crosses to know how good we are at being Christian. That's true.
Your old neighbours are living here now. It's a bit of a shithole.
Ah, that's
Even
what this
so,
is. The refugee
you should be
camp.
thankful to Sir Hanush. If the town burghers got their way, your folk wouldn't be let anywhere near the town.
Yep.
And now our people aren't too happy with him.
Ah,
Some fools
Scott.
are even calling for Sir Hanush to finally hand the fiefdom over to the young lord, Sir Hans Capon.
What am I to do?
Sir Hans's father, old Sir Yeshke, may God rest his soul, kept it till he was an old man. Then he retired from it, first to Moravia, then to eternity. Sir Hanush is managing the fiefdom until Sir Hans comes of age. They're related by blood somehow, the same great-great-grandfather.
No, they're related by having
some
vaguely
such.
similar names.
The time's coming soon
Actually,
enough when
probably
the estates
derived
have to
from
be
the same
handed
name.
over. These affairs often end
I don't
in
know.
conflict.
I don't know what the
hope you have
Czech
nothing like that here.
equivalent would be. Jan Yeshek. Alright.
Came from over here.
What's actually going on here? Also, the fact that we managed to win that is amazing. Or that they actually managed to persuade him to just be like, yeah, let's give him food, or give them alms, and then she'll just bail. Is an interesting way of solving disputes.
This square
I much prefer that
looks
way.
much better during the markets. Then it's filled to bursting with
Okay,
folk from all
so we're
around.
just not in market season. God, why not? Why were we not in market season? Friar Tuck, God, medieval. I'm not a specialist in medieval Robin Hood. I do have hopes to get a bunch of Robin Hood scholars all on at the same time in the medium future, and we can talk about.
We've also got the baker's shop here, and that mad merchant Wolfram Kruder. Kruder has a pretty daughter, but he keeps her on a short rein, which the young bucks are none too happy about.
Yikes.
I heard he even keeps the poor lass locked up
Yikes.
at home all day.
But yeah, I'm hoping to get a bunch of Robin Hood folks on at some point to talk about Robin Hood adaptations. But yeah, Friar Tuck is broadly another beggar. Are we doing more class violence? Is that the?
Comfortable, are we? Arms, please, sir.
Is this
There's
really
one
what we're
ale.
doing?
Good day to you.
Market Square, the Traders' Tavern. The others up by the gate.
Did you find out what
We're
actually
going there
happened?
later.
What do I know? The lords are at each other's throats, but it's us.
How does life in Rattay suit you?
It'd be fine if we didn't have to sleep in hovels and beg for alms. And the bailiff is always on our backs, the bastard. But what can we do? We've got nowhere else to go.
May the Lord watch over you.
A superior thing, right? More likely thing that's going to happen with these is, right, refugees in this period, them being displaced here and having to beg, very likely to happen. Us doing class violence on them, reasonably likely to happen.
Let's
If
move
possible,
along
they
to
want to
the
be
inner
like
bailey.
Teresa and go stay with family. Because otherwise we're reliant on caritas, care. Often translated as charity, but care I think is the better term. Which There would be institutions in some parts, like Prague would have poorhouses to help take care of these, run by the various monastic orders. Probably Dominican orders, I think, question mark. Don't quote me on that. I guess Franciscan also would have a lot.
The blacksmith has some trouble, and he's not working at the moment, but his apprentice is standing in tolerably. I hear you're a blacksmith's apprentice, too. You lot could help if needed, couldn't you?
Us? What do you mean?
You and your master, or your father, whoever taught you.
They...
What is it, lad?
My father was the master blacksmith.
Uh-huh.
He was killed in Skalitz.
Ah, I'm sorry. I didn't know.
Thank you, Nightingale.
So am I.
Also, thank you, Jan, for saying that.
Of course, it was old age got
Hans
him.
is Jan
That's not the
Tacek.
same, but I know a little how you feel.
I appreciate that. That's a very jazzy tune. I like it. You got groove, my man. You got groove. Yeah, you love that. Teresa was like, I have no family, no one left.
The
And the
Ratte
next line is,
fiefdom
where to
is
go?
pretty
I'll stay
big.
with my uncle.
Naturally, it
Exactly.
starts here by the town and continues along the Sasau River all the way to Kohelnitz. Then there's Gallows Hill, lots of farmhouses scattered around. Neuhof, Merhoyed. Master Smill is in charge of Sir Hanush's stables. He's by far his best vassal. It's all a bit complicated for a newcomer, I suppose.
Yeah,
This
that was a
lord
lot of
here,
exposition.
That lord there, this exemption here,
Yep.
that right there. Exemptions from exemptions, rights to
Hey,
half
look.
of something, so on. It'd take you a year to make head or tail
Hey,
of
hey,
it.
look, that's a good summary of
This tower was only
feudal
half the
relations.
size when I was a young lad. Sir Hanush had it extended and made into an armory.
Oh. That sounds exactly right. Take you a year to learn it all and it's completely not worth the effort? Yep, that is the best summary of feudal relations that you can ask for. There's a reason I don't do legal history.
I've lost everything.
There's a very good reason why I don't do legal history. I have to deal with that. Yeah, semi-monastically religious orders, Bojanages and Beghards in the Low Countries, 13th to 16th century, had attending to the poor. Exactly. Franciscans have vows of poverty, so they are the poor, but also manage poorhouses to help others who are the poor.
Reduced to begging. And what am I to do, good folk?
Dominicans had responsibilities of caring for the poor as part of the monastic order,
How goes it?
etc. Monastic orders are very big on this. Because it's a good way of
Where's
proving your
Moimir,
devotion
anyway?
that you are giving
Isn't he
away
supposed to be
all
here
your
with you?
worldly possessions,
yes.
preferably to
He
those
hasn't
less
turned up
fortunate
yet.
than you, and also making a
see.
traveler the money in the process
Now, where
through
might he have got
land
to,
tax.
then?
I don't know.
You don't know, eh? Let me tell you something. When the bailiff finds out Moimir's slacking off, he'll be in serious shit. And being a friend of his,
Sorry,
you
I wasn't
wouldn't
paying
want
attention.
that, would you?
Why are we threatening this
So
guard?
it's better if I deal with it and we leave the bailiff out of it, right?
Yes, I suppose so.
So where is he?
In the tavern. He was thirsty, so he...
Went for an ale. We know how that goes. Come on, Henry. Let's go and find that idol,
This
and you'd
dude's
better talk some
interchangeable.
sense into him.
Right. It depends on where you are. That would call it different things. Alright.
What the fuck are you doing here when you're supposed to be on the gate? Move your carcass and go and guard the gate. Not a word. Get moving. You're lucky it was me found out, not the bailiff, or God forbid, Captain Bernard. Out!
Nice. He took care of it all for me. We love that. Hi, Hans. What does Hans do?
Let's have a drink.
Yeah, hi. You're not looking so well from when I beat the shit out of you.
That fool got me all worked up.
What is... Goofy.
Me as well, the lazy bastard.
My words exactly. And just when we need every pair of eyes.
Which is why we are
You
sitting
never
here
know
doing
when
nothing,
the humans might
notably.
creep up on us. But that's enough about that. Let's not let it spoil our day. Listen, since we're sitting here anyway, how about a little game?
Let's play a game.
Why not?
Let's gamble away all our cash. I'm sure this will be fine.
May the best man win.
Are we actually playing the dice? Oh. Oh. Oh, I know how to play this game. That's fine. We grab one of these. And we then roll again. Because we had nothing of significance there. We had basically nothing of significance there.
The best of health.
We're going to hold that one and we're going to roll again. Hold that one and we're going to roll again. Classic strategy, just we get a 50 and we pass. Roll die and we pass.
That's it.
He's doing the exact same thing. Why is this a medieval game? I feel like this is not by no means a medieval game.
That'll do me.
Yeah, okay. This very 20th. Oh. Sweet. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 of a kind. That's 4 of a kind. We literally just take that. It's officially listed as Sparkle, but it is similar to craps, yes. But as far as I can tell, it's attested from the,
Finished.
that, yeah. This game appears to be, you know, from the 1980s. Oh. Wait, are we only trying to get to 2000? Oh. Well, we're done.
You're lucky.
Okay. What a game. Whatever.
Just one more thing and we're done for the night.
Uh-huh.
Bringing the end of the day and closing the taverns.
Isn't it still a bit early?
No?
I don't know how it was in Scarlet's, but here in Rattay we close up at this hour. Except, of course, during
It is
fairs and
extremely
big
modern.
festivals. Then we don't close at all.
Minigames. As per
Shall I go and ring
usual,
the bell?
games,
If you wouldn't mind,
video
the
games
bell is hanging outside
are
the
very
Rat
bad
House.
at
Ring
representing
3 times, then go to the Traders'
historical
Tavern by the
board
Market
games
Square and make
or
sure
dice
the
games
innkeeper
or
closes
whatever,
up.
right?
I'll do that.
Before I forget, it's forbidden to walk in Rattay at night without a torch.
They're
Here, take this one.
extraordinarily bad at it because historical games are not supposed to be something that you do conveniently and short term, which is exactly what a minigame is, right? A minigame is meant to be a break from the main mechanics of the game. And most board games that we know anything about from the Middle Ages are very different socially. Instead of being a break, though certainly there are dice games that are intended as such, many of them are processed more as elite leisure culture games, which means that you're thinking much more strategy games, things like chess. Or, yet another option is that there are things that are meant to be played round after round after round after round. You could think of like most gambling games as things that are supposed to be played over many rounds for the sake of being not garbage. Maybe I'll just run up here and be ahead of schedule. So yeah, right, it's two different social needs, two extremely different, either long-term leisure activities or elite strategy games, and in either case, they're not very appropriate for a minigame. And so we end up using modern games that have, can be played very quickly, then give like a 10-minute distraction. Because that is the superior option for the needs of the game. That being said, I would definitely prefer something that we know has a long history instead of, is probably some sort of folk game, but it got popular in the 1980s. Oh, there's the bell. Ring, bell, ringed. Can you see stars if you look up? Well, I don't know if you guys watching the VOD can, or
my livelihood.
Can't,
Be
but
merciful, good people.
yeah, words are hard. I don't know about you guys watching the VOD, but I certainly can see stars if I look up, though I am oh, no, they actually are historical. Well, there's Ursa Major, which should mean that there's Ursa Minor is right there, so that one right above the yellow dot is Polaris. So they actually are using at least a modern astronomical map. That's something. We have identifiable constellations in our starscape. That's not nothing.
She was pleased.
I'm sure we can see more if I put away my torch, but yeah, that helps. Right in the center of Ursa Major. Alright, who's going to...
And the canon of St. Wenceslas in Olivets was so drunk, he dragged the pig to the market square, saddled it up, and rode it out of the town gate. No, we can see this wasn't going to end well.
Thank you,
Sir Peter and I rode off
Shawnee
to
and
look
Jacob,
for the good
for the follow just now.
pig.
I appreciate it.
Did you find him?
We tracked the filthy beast down to a sty beyond Cronau. I mean, the beast with a tonsure on its head. We never found the real pig, but the Reverend was sound asleep in the pigsty.
Classic stories,
Birds
lesson
with
point of the
feathers
Reverend.
stick together. It seems the same goes for pigs
And wrongly organized religion, as all the monks are corrupt and all the prelates are useless. Also,
Sir Hans, forgive my intrusion, but I need...
Oh, but what? You want to join us? Want to buy us around? I'm afraid we don't drink with peasants. You're not in your village now, boy.
No, sir. Curfew's been rung. The alehouse is closing.
Nothing closes while I'm sitting here. If that's all, you're dismissed.
Are you out of your mind, lad? You can't cross his lordship. He's got a temper like a bear with gut ache.
he's so good at whispering, y'all.
I'll get lost before he shows
Hey,
it.
The bailiff
everyone.
instructed me to close the tavern at the proper hour. He doesn't want anyone disturbing the peace after curfew.
The bailiff? The bailiff can kiss my ass. I trust you haven't
Hey,
forgotten
everyone,
the
you
right
shouldn't
Lord
cross this,
Ratek.
dude. I'm being stealthy.
Hannes.
Oh, is he here? What, is he hiding under the table, maybe? No! Then what he wants isn't worth a fart in a bathhouse. And besides, he's only in charge till I grow up.
Which clearly hasn't happened yet.
Enough! You can't talk to me like that. I'm a
God,
nobleman.
we are so dumb.
Sirs, you're not going to fight here, are you?
We most definitely are. This yokel needs to be taught his place.
We are so dumb.
Jesus Christ!
What? I disagree.
Go on with grace. Show him what for.
You'll get one.
Show him no quarter, sir.
Metka.
Beat him down. That'll teach you how to talk to you.
Oh good, we at least break even.
What in the name of Christ is happening here? Hell? Answer me, damn you!
This peasant insulted me. I had to teach him a lesson.
By rolling around in the mud like a hog.
I think the coroner rules this one as suicide. Yeah.
An example of noble conduct.
Sir Hannes, the bailiff ordered me
Silence! You shut your mouth and thank your lucky stars that you are Radzig's ward. Have you gone out of your mind? Raising your hand to a nobleman? And you, Hans, how many times have I told you that drinking with your subjects might be good for their morale, but it's bad for your
This is Bruce Littell, correct? Dusty Dog, I had a good sense that there was going to be Henry doing dumb shit for the entire time. And here we are, having dumb shit for the entire stream.
See what that leads to. Tomorrow, you will go with me to a hearing. Some landowners.
Oh good, he gets to be an apprentice at being in charge.
It'll be an excellent lesson for you.
I had planned to go hunting, but if you think listening to the pointless gripes of a bunch of old fools will benefit me, so be it.
Oh, hunting? Well then, Your Grace, I'll tell you what. You can go hunting.
Really?
Oh, naturally. Who am I to deprive the young Lord Capon of his sport? And you can take Henry here as your page.
Him? Absolutely not.
You'll do as I've commanded. It's time you learned how to lead people.
Roll.
And not just in drinking and brawling. Now get out of my sight.
I mean, this guy is... Everyone
Sir,
here is
I have
assholes.
responsibilities of the bailiff.
Not anymore. Your responsibilities now are the Lord Capon. It's time you learned how to behave in the presence of nobility.
I like his outfit, but man, is this guy a jerk.
Tell the kitchen I'm hungry. It's been a long journey.
Also, Henry has now gotten handed around to 3 different people. Just for the record, literally nobody, right, our fealty is officially to, Radzig Kabbalah, who handed us off to the bailiff, who has now handed us off to Jan Ptacek. So we are doing a bad job at, you know, having a job. But yes, I also agree he did look an awful lot like, he did look an awful lot like Henry VIII.
Where the hell?
With those poofy sleeves and heavy fur trim. Oh yeah, we're supposed to do this. Sorry about that. Meanwhile, we're getting real Henry V vibes from our Henry. That's also correct. God. Frickin' full Shakespearean idiot Hal. Our hero. An impetuous fool who happens to be successful at the things he's trying to do for no discernible reason. Yep. One Prince Hal later. Amazing. Which I think is instructive, because, right, we're getting to the point, right, we are 3... Yeah, even though this game is, you know, outside of cutscenes, you are not able to die. Or, outside of cutscenes, this is a brutal game that does not care and will kill you randomly. inside the cutscenes, we're just gonna roll. We have significant plot armor that protects us from, you know, social obligations and getting punished for our actions in ways that are actually punishing. So it's pseudo plot armor. It is narrative plot armor for social good graces rather than plot armor mechanically. We went slightly the wrong direction. At least the stars are pretty. I wonder if the moon changes phase. You know, chat, I wonder what the odds are that the moon actually changes phase in any significant way. My instinct is probably not, but stars? We at least get stars out of it. Okay. Anyway, we are about to wrap up, so let's try and get a coherent, thing. Right, let's try and get a coherent thought at the end of it here, because we are actually at a point where I think we can start meaningfully talking about this game's overall adaptation strategy instead of just having fun nitpicking. We can still have fun nitpicking and being petty bastards about it, because of course we can.
I'll have to get something to eat. I'm starting to get hungry.
Well, that was what we got these for. We should eat our, like, not fresh things before we eat our very... Ew. Stop with the noises. Got 20 rotten apples. Incredible. There we go. Anyway, right. Its ideas about what is historically accurate seem to be very specific, in that it is a time right, the material representation of things in this game is often very good. They're really good at textiles, right? These things are really good at textiles. Their churches are actually remarkably competently done, for a change. And they're really good at arms and armor, and animations of combat. And overall, like, the design of this town is actually quite good, though I wish we had markets. Where it seems to be much, much worse, is social and cultural nuances. Right, their blurbs aren't always bad, but their narrative writing is so traditionalist, and so informed by other games that rely on masculine heroes, and other narratives that rely on traditionally masculine heroes, that it has some issues. Overall, right, Wolfie, I will admit I am being a bit spoiled here, because I know someone who knows someone who was the lead referent for this game. Right, so perhaps friend of a friend is a strong term, but an acquaintance of an acquaintance was closely involved, was a consultant for the animations of this game. So, yeah. But yeah, and socially, we're acting very much traditional under, right, random fantasy dude hero. And so that's bad. And where the game really is struggling is its inclusivity and diversity. Right, so Henry is able to get... Everyone, game development is hard, but also, flash, right, they're really bad at inclusivity and outside of, white free man, white free man social norms. It's traditionalism, right? Not historical accuracy. It's traditionalism masquerading as historical accuracy. Put an apple in there. Hooray, I'll be clumsy for a while. Luckily, I'm about to go to sleep. Not a... Yep. And yeah, right, they specifically chose settings, that let them get around, you know, religious diversity. And get around all of our sources for, right, our really good documentation for, social diversity, ethnic and racial diversity, trade routes, gender diversity, guild systems, religious institutions, right? They've really been very careful about what spot they're selecting for, to choose a spot that we don't have good written evidence for. And that gives them a lot of leeway in what they're doing, right? The fact that we're here, that we are in relatively rural Bohemia, gives them, at a period of social unrest, gives them a lot of leeway to impose their version of what the Czech farmer life should be like. And that's about it. It's been a while, actually, because we were practically comatose for 2 weeks. We were practically comatose for 2 weeks, and nothing decayed while we were comatose. So yeah, it is an in-game timer decay, not a actually like historical reality time. Because yeah, our comatoseness doesn't exist. Now, anyway, we've been going for 3 hours, and we are about to enter another chunk of, you know, time and stuff. So, I'm in? Question mark?
Hey, who's that?
I thought this was my... Isn't this my... I'm too far off the thing, aren't I? I'm dumb. Where do... Am I on the wrong side of town? I've been looking here assuming that this was the mill. The whole time. Yeah, okay, I'm significantly too far up. No. Baths. Zoom out, please? Nope. That's not helpful. Whoa, what the... Huh? Huh? What? Okay, yeah, I crossed the path on the wrong side. Okay. Let's try that again. Now that we are on the correct side of town, we've been going for 3 hours, and therefore it's time for us to call it a stream. Because next time we're going to go hunting. Which means, knowing we're going to go hunting, I'm gonna actually pay attention and try and go hunting. Sleep. Not very long, because I'm not going to get good sleep. At dawn, 3, 4. And so, having saved, this is where... Nope. Stop it. Don't go back to sleep. I know it's your layabout, but, get up. And here we shall wrap up our stream for the day. So, once again, thank you all for joining me for this. And extra big thank you to our patrons all listed here. If you want to help support the stream, do head over to patreon.com/LeoHistory. And for as little as $2 a month, you can help support the stream and make sure this continues to be possible. Also, if you have not yet, do make sure you're followed to be notified when the next thing is coming up. I expect the next one will be on Saturday, because Ubisoft is doing an event about Assassin's Creed, and being historical game scholars, we can't not be paying attention to Assassin's Creed. So, stay tuned for that. Schedule will be... Oh, sorry. I'm bad at timing. There's one before then. There is one before then. There will be one coming up on Saturday, probably, assuming I can get all the pieces in line. But Thursday is actually our next stream. Definitely know what day it is. I definitely thought it was Thursday today and not Tuesday. Day after tomorrow is our next stream. Steel Rising is coming out. It is a game that is the French Revolution, but Louis XVI has a robot army. So that's going to be really fun. I am super duper excited. It is mechanically an extremely fun game. And so I'm excited to dig into it. So I hope you will all join me for the French Revolution with robots. But until then, this has been Henry doing dumb shit. I have been Adam making fun of Henry doing dumb shit. And yeah, I will catch you all next time. Alright? Good night.